Anyway, we go way back, you know. Firehouse subs, right?
You guys are Situate?
Yeah, that's where we lived. How weird, right? Anyway, sorry. We'll talk later. I really liked Belcourt Castle in Newport because it's one of the lesser known mansions down there, and it's privately owned. And the lady who owns it was Tinny, is very open to this stuff. We did an episode there, but they're always very accommodating, and you get up to it. That's one that people can go to. But other than that, it's private houses that are just crazy. There's the White Horse. Is that what it is? White Horse Tavern. Yeah. In Gloucester, which is cool. Yeah. No, Chepachet. You kind of know what I'm saying, right? Anyway, sorry. Is that good?
That works.
We'll talk later. All right. Right there.
A couple things off topic. Number one, thanks for putting your music on SoundCloud. It's beautiful. Incredible.
Wow, thank you very much.
And how is your game company going?
I really appreciate both of those questions. A lot of people think, like, they're afraid to talk to me about ghost hunting. They think I've moved on or something like that. No, it's still a huge part of my life.
Do you still go out with your...
I still go out and investigate, but I've since moved from Rhode Island for various reasons. But so I investigate with the guys from the show when they can, but they typically don't want to. You're investigating so much in the show, the last thing you want to do in your free time is investigate. Yeah, the music, I write, people who don't know, I taught myself how to play piano and guitar when I was 14. And tons of piano songs, and I just made my first album. And people love it. I get a lot of good feedback. People are getting married to it. People have kids with anxiety and can't calm down. They put my music on and calms them down. Very flattering stuff. Yeah, and I'm almost done with my second CD. And I've got more tracks to go, right? I'm always playing in the house.
Well, I hear you hook up with Deseret Book and have that market.
Not a bad idea. Yeah. But we also own a board game company, so I do all the artwork for those games. We have 5 out now, and we're probably going to do another 3 next year and 30 on the way. And we're just cranking it out, and we're making board games for other companies. Really, just, it's the perfect job for a geek. I've been drawing since I could hold a pencil, writing music, and then all of a sudden Ghost came and hit me. And now all of a sudden that blows up for some weird reason. It's just weird. So I'm really taking the time to focus on my other creative endeavors and still investing. Thank you.
Did you guys early work for Roto-Rooter?
No, it's all a lie. Just like everything on the show. It's all fake. I have cancer and my wife's getting divorced from me. Yes. Yeah, we Roto-Rooter knew what we did, and we told them that the show was a possibility, and they said fine. Yeah, I worked for them for about 2.5 years before the show even came up as a possibility, and we said, look, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do 10 episodes, and they were like, okay. So we did both full time, working like 100 hours a week. And our boss at Roto-Rooter brought us in. He's like, you guys look like you're gonna die. Like, we were getting sick. We weren't getting any, rest. And he's like, why don't you take the time you need to film those 10 episodes, and we'll figure it out. And so in return, we said, you know what? That's pretty awesome. I mean, we're gonna make sure you guys are on the show for those 10 episodes, and go for it. It's just a gentleman's agreement, and we just kept working with them, and they kept figuring it out. Obviously, we worked for them less and less out in the field, and I couldn't go to someone's house and fix their, replace their piping or anything, because a 2-hour job would turn into a 6-hour job because they see me on the show and all that. So, but I don't work for them anymore. A wonderful company, just very understanding. Yeah.
So on one of your episodes, you guys go and investigate in a bar that they had a bunch of false stuff in there.
Yes, we investigated a place that had a bunch of fake stuff.
Run into anything like that, or people calling you and doing stuff like that?
We've had it happen a few times, but we're always very vocal about it. They didn't want to air that episode because of that. They thought they were going to get sued, and I said, no, you can't get sued. We gave them a chance to tell us, and they never did. And we had that happen on the Queen Mary. Dave Tango noticed a little blip. Someone had used a remote on our camera or something and messed with us. And before the show, there was a guy that built a speaker into his wall, trying to fool us. And I didn't understand what his motivation was. I don't understand what you're trying to do with this. But, I mean, it could be happening more often than we know, because you only know when it happens when you catch it. But that place was cool. I got up in the attic and fixed all the moving fans, and we fixed the light behind the face in the mirror, and we told them, we're like, look, you know, we just keep fixing stuff, eventually this place will be haunted, because we fixed all your little gags. It's weird. It was like a training camp for us. It was cool. Very cool. Yes?
For those interested in getting into ghost hunting, what would you suggest?
For those interested in getting into ghost hunting, any suggestions? Don't. No, I'm just kidding. Well, first you have to understand that it doesn't make, I mean, unless you happen to get some fluke and have a show, it doesn't make any money. In fact, it costs a lot of money. So understand that. You know, with equipment and travel and all that. Because we don't charge our family, the clients, we don't charge them. So know that ahead of time. So if you're young and want to become a professional ghost hunter, go to school for something that will pay the bills, but also give you information like forensics or something like that. They'll give you the information you need to be a good ghost hunter. I would suggest don't go equipment crazy like we do. You don't need much more than a video recorder or a voice recorder. You don't need both. Instead of an EMF, you can use a compass. If it just starts to spin, then you know there's a magnetic field there. Do some research, study, visit other teams, and things like that. But don't believe everything you read or see. Don't, you know, take it all with a grain of salt. Even what I'm telling you tonight, because there are no true experts in the field, just people who've been doing it for a while and have racked up experiences. So, hope that helps. And it's good to start like a friend or relative's house, and then move on to like a bed and breakfast or a public place, you know, so you don't have the pressure of the clientele, because it gets very legal at that point. You know, you have to have releases and stuff signed, background checks and things like that.
So I have children to see, and so as for a parenting perspective, how do you go about parenting children with these?
Okay, so she has children that are sensitive. They see a lot of stuff. The best thing, I mean, parenting is hard enough. And there certainly isn't a section in the manual about paranormal. If there is, let me know. But we always say to just, you know, be careful with it. Like, if they're talking to something that's not there, understand it. Don't freak out. Don't draw attention to it. That always goes the other way with kids. It always has a side reverse effect. But I wouldn't let them interact with it for more than 5 minutes or something, then casually distract them away. Okay? That way you'll keep them balanced. If they're too engaged in it, you can't keep up as a parent. And you don't know what's real and what's not. And if you tell them something's not real, then they think you're a lie. They can't trust you. But you also can't tell them what's real and what's not. You don't know. So it's good to keep the interactions. As soon as you discover it, casually distract them from it. And that will keep them well balanced. And don't let them, you know, you as a parent, don't believe everything Hollywood has taught you, that there's this huge cloud of potential that paranormal can be. It can suck you into a TV like a poltergeist. It can, you know, crawl on the ceiling and all, like, that's just stuff that just doesn't happen. So boil it down to something that a pill you can swallow, which is they're just people. Some people are jerks, most people are nice, and they just need some help. Does that help? If you have more, just come by the table. Okay. Whoa, way back there. How are you?
Can I just get you to stand up and do this so I can get pictures for Comic-Con?
Okay. Crazy. So glad you had my back on that one, All right, any other questions? Yes.
My friend kind of has something that kind of tends to follow her around.
Okay.
Like she'll move into a different house and it'll kind of go with her. And like, do you have any kind of suggestions about how to help her deal with it?
So your friend has something that's apparently following her. Are you sure it's the same thing every time?
I'm considering it's never really bothered me, but it bothers her. Like when she goes to different houses, it's the same kind of feeling following her around.
Okay, that's the question because
Yeah.
it's hard to prove something's there in the first place, but then to prove the same things
Yeah.
following you around is tough.
It's
Okay, well, they're just people. Let's start there every time. They're just people. Now, I'm going to tell a little story. Hopefully you don't fall asleep. But I had a dream once when we were first married and we had one child. He was about a year old. And in this dream, we were driving in a car and he was in the back seat through this beautiful New England road with bright fall colors, and it was beautiful. And I knew in just that dream way that this road was something people didn't travel. Like we found some hidden road, and it was awesome and beautiful. And something happened. We went off the road. Of course, this is just a dream. Got in a wreck and came to, and everything was like a twilight blue. And our child was screaming in the back seat. And I turned around and looked at him, and he was in full color still. And in my mind, I thought, oh no, he's dead, and like I'm seeing his spirit. And I tried to comfort him, nothing. And I was like, what the heck? And then I looked at my wife, and it hit me that, no, he survived and we had died. And that bright light started to open up, beckoning us to leave. And I essentially in the dream flipped it off. Like, I'm not going anywhere because I know people don't go down this road, and he's young, I'm not leaving until I know he's okay. And someone in good hands. And that made me, I woke up and I had a nice kind of epiphany there. Let's think of the entities that way. And there's this one maybe following her, not haunting her or bothering her, or it's nothing like that. It's nothing Scrooge-like, or Marley, I should say. But there's probably something about her that either he or she.
She's very open, super sensitive, like she senses things all the time.
Okay, so he may see other entities around trying to get her attention, and he's trying to keep them away, protective, or she just might remind him of someone he knew, and he just enjoys that because he's probably lost and confused, and something familiar goes a long way in a situation like that. So, yeah. Okay. Sorry, did the dragon conquer? There you go.
Say a skeptic came up to you and said, okay, those accounts of feelings and stuff, that doesn't really register with me. What is your most solid kind of evidence, you think? Like, do you think it's the infrared evidence, or do you think it's like, I don't know, just plain handheld footage? What do you think is the most solid evidence that you can show to a skeptic?
First of all, that is completely against my goals as a paranormal investigator. Like, skeptics are skeptics because they have no reason to believe, and that's fine. If something if a black shadow flew at you down the hallway and punched you in the face, which happened to me, that would be easy. You could then have a reason to think something's going on. Skeptics are very high-minded, very not all. Skeptic is good, but I'm talking about the extreme skeptics.
The naysayers?
And it's like, every time they get in my face, they say, well, why don't you just come and investigate with us? And they never want to do it. Tells you something right there. It's like the internet. Everyone's all powerful when you can't tell who they are. You get them face to face and they back down. But in this day and age, I think it's impossible to find a piece of evidence that's going to convince someone who doesn't want to believe. I mean, look at the movies. I just watched Guardians of the Galaxy twice, and it was like, we're flying through space. And, I mean, anything can be doctored. So our goal is to just help people and to get information to help find out what's going on in their home, not to prove to anyone the afterlife exists. I don't think we'll ever be able to do that, and I honestly hope we aren't able to. I think it's good to have that mystery. But skeptics, you know, be constructive with it. That's how I think. Like, don't just be a guy that's a hater. Be constructive and say, okay, well, what if it worked this way? Not just like, you're faking. God, if we faked evidence, I think we'd catch some cooler stuff. Personally. Right? Jeez. That gold ticket member.
Let's say you do find, like, you know, normally you guys would find haunted places. Do you ever help them get rid of whatever's there? Or you just tell them, no, deal with it, it's not for you?
Well, what you're seeing on the show is what we call a preliminary investigation. With every case that comes our way, we go in and we hit it like that to try to determine what's there, and then we'll assign the right people to go and help it out. Unfortunately, on the show, that's all you see. Before I filmed, and what I'm doing now is we continue to follow that case all the way to the end. We never ever say that we can get rid of it because they're humans. They're just dead humans, and they have free will. I could sit here and say the power of Christ compels you, and you guys would be like, that's cool. You know, I could burn sage, you might cough, but you wouldn't have to leave. You know, if I say, hey, I'll give you $50 if you leave. Well, some people might raise some hands, right? Or I crank the heat and make it uncomfortable for you. You make it up and leave. They're people. You have to get inside their head, find out what they need, and offer the help, and then they'll go. But there are situations where there's some that are just sitting there, and we encourage the family, they all have to be on the same page. Everyone get around the table and just, you don't want it anymore. And imagine that, you're hanging out with some people and they all get together and say, we don't want you here anymore, in the nicest way. You'd probably leave. But we can't guarantee it. Yes?
Do you watch, like, since you're into Ghosthunters, do you watch other shows that do it?
Do I watch other of these?
Like Ghosthunters?
I don't watch my own show. It's too weird. I was telling some folks that today. It's very weird. I have watched them. I think it's good to see what they're up to. And I think it's good that they do it differently than we do. Because if we all do it the same way, we're not going to learn as much as if we were trying different things. But probably the consistent thing I see that bothers me is that they don't respect the entities. I don't know if you see that on our show. I mean, we're always victim of editing, but we're very respectful. We only provoke when it's absolutely necessary, because if you provoke, you have to then spend hours cleaning up the mental mess you made. Where other people just go in, I mean, come on, if you're sitting in a room and some stranger comes in and says, move that chair, you know, what do you think I'm here for? If you don't move that chair, I'm gonna leave. And I'd be like, I'm not touching it, so you can leave. Get out of here. What's in it for them? Nothing. You know, you gotta offer help. But Ghost Adventurers, Aaron Goodwin is a great guy. Fantastic. Zach Baggins, he's interesting. He's nice enough, but yeah, I'll stop there. He's interesting. I just don't want to be misconstrued, but he's an interesting guy. The one show that really bothered me was the Extreme Paranormal. It wasn't on for very long, but yeah, they were just all shock value. One guy like cut his hand, so he got blood, and he was like drawing, I don't know, pentagrams on it. Yeah, so of course, some like 14-year-old girl tries it and slits her wrists, and it's like, oh man, what are you doing? You have a responsibility when you're on TV to not be an idiot, although there are a lot of idiots on TV. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting shows. I think we're the only show that was kind of already doing it and then got approached to do a show. A lot of them were put together for a show. And I think the difference is clear.
That's not really how it was while we were there.
Fortunately, Rob Katz, who was the executive producer for most of Ghosthunters, was very good at reflecting what happened. And there are times you're frustrated, like, oh, we spent 3 hours trying to debunk that and never showed up. There's no evidence of it whatsoever. But they never did any of that tricky editing. you know, to make it look like you said something you didn't, because we would come down on it too hard. Yeah, like I said, it takes 2 weeks to film an episode. They boil that down to 43 minutes. It's a tough job. It's a tough job, so they do it really well. Yes?
So I use the term, right? Not trying to say this as tactfully as possible. But
Just let it out.
a lot of people hear the word haunting and they think negative. It's not necessarily negative.
No.
It's just like you said, people trying to perhaps interact with us in a way they don't have.
Well, the thing is, she was saying that a lot of times a haunting is, when people say haunting, the automatic implication is that it's negative. And that's not the case. In fact, most of the time, it's very positive. Like imagine if I'm sitting here and I'm going, hey Rihanna, and she doesn't react. My next reaction is to do this. And if she doesn't react to that, then it's this. You know, I'd be like, boom, and that's what she feels. Now I'm using those. Here goes the rumor. You know, and if you just feel that push, now all of a sudden you think it's aggressive. It's just not that way. I mean, look at this. You're at Comic-Con and you're running around with all these cool people, and you're not afraid. You know what I mean? You go to the store. People are generally good, and it's the same way when you're dead. It's a weird thing to say, but it is. Yeah. Got 5 minutes. All right. Let's see. Right. Yeah.
So when you're talking about the other ghost paranormal shows, what do you think of the show that like you call like a haunting or a dog haunting, where sometimes like these animals and oh my dog says this and my cat died because this ghost killed my cat.
Yeah, well, animals are very functional. They're very good to have on an investigation. Or, you know, people just say, my dog stares at this corner all the time. Yeah, we'll call pest control. There's probably a squirrel on the wall. And it's cool. I mean, your dog, that's great. I'm glad your dog did this, but, like, I can't interview your dog. Well, I can. I wouldn't get it very far, but you can't get any information out of the dog. We used, obviously Maddie was on the show, but she wasn't properly trained. Usually it takes a long time to train them to communicate to you what they're experiencing. But they're great because they're unbiased. So, where someone just sitting in their house is different, but if you're investigating, you have an animal with you, and you're getting readings, or you're sensing like, I don't feel right in here, and you look at the dog and the tail's between its legs, it's an unbiased investigator. It doesn't care if the place looks like it's out of Amityville, or Saw, or anything like that. It doesn't care about that. Yeah, I hate movies. It's weird. Everyone thinks I like horror movies. I can't stand them. Thrillers all day long. Yeah, so animals are, they can be useful, but when it's a homeowner, it's, yeah, you can't really, like I said, you can't get any information out of the dog.
You can't just like say, oh, the nose like killed my cat. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't think it's like really possible.
No, ghosts are going to kill your pet.
Yeah, I'm sure you've had a lot of great experiences meeting different people throughout your investigation. I'm just curious, like, do you ever have certain emotional attachments? So, like, if people have had pretty heavy-duty experiences and you come in and you help them to try and understand it, is there any particular story, anything you think of a certain family that you've kind of grown attached to, even if it was just one moment, and that, you know, you almost felt overwhelmed with emotions?
It's a great question. He's talking about how when you're helping these people, it does get very emotional, and you become a serious part of their life. And like before and after the show, you'll spend sometimes months with these people, and I remember for a long time I get letters from them way after, and just informing me of how they're doing. Excuse me. There's a case that we were actually able to solve without even having to go there. Recently, a friend of a friend had a son that was heavily medicated and about to get institutionalized because he was violent and out of his mind. And the mother contacted us because she thought he was possessed. And so we asked some questions. We had a friend that lived near there and had them go and do some things. And we found out through interviewing that this doesn't happen anywhere else besides the home. So again, she thought it was paranormal. And we were thinking, all right, something else. So we sent one of our friend who lived across the street went over there with an EMF and checked it out. He said it's off the charts in the kid's bed. And fair enough, he was super hypersensitive to electromagnetic fields. And so they've since insulated him from this. And a heavily medicated, how old was he? 12-year-old who was about to get ripped away from his family and institutionalized is now fine. He's got a K2 meter and he's taught how to use it, so if he's constantly got that thing going, and if he gets near an EMF field, he can back away. That's the stuff we like to do. That's what we can do now, but I'm not stuck with a production schedule. So there's stuff like that. That's why I do it. That's the hard thing. Okay, how are we on time? 1 minute. Woo, okay, this is it. The purple shirt.
I just wanted to tell you that I miss you on the show. And also, of all of the ghost hunting shows that I've seen, you guys are the only ones that don't leave me with a negative feeling.
Interesting. Thank you for that. Thank you, because that's our goal. I mean, we've always been there to help, and that was our goal with the show. Obviously, the production company, tries to make it scary and add weird music and stuff. But our goal is to raise awareness and to make you feel more empowered when the show's over. And so that's very good to hear.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Guys, I will be here all weekend. I'm very hospitable. Thank you for your support.